As I mentioned in an earlier video, the Google Maps Android API v2 does not support the Android emulator, so you'll need to do your testing on an actual device. If you're working on Mac OS X, all you really need to do is plug in the device and it should just work. But on Windows, there are a few more steps. First, you'll need to download a driver. If you're working with a Nexus device, that is one of the devices that's managed by Google, you can get the driver through the SDK Manager. Go to the Android SDK Manager and scroll down to the bottom of the list and look for the Google USB driver. This driver should work fine on a Nexus 4, Nexus 7, or other Google Nexus devices. I've already installed the USB driver, and I'll show you where it lands. If you haven't installed it before, check the checkbox and follow the rest of the prompts. The device driver is placed in the SDK folder. My SDK is on my desktop, so from there I'll go to the ADT bundle, to the SDK, to Extras, Google USB driver. Make a note of that location. You'll need it to install the USB driver on your system. Next, go to the Control Panel. On Windows 8, I can get to the Control Panel by right-clicking in the lower left corner and choosing Control Panel. Then go to the Device Manager. I'll type in Device and click on Device Manager. At this point, I don't have my Android device plugged in, so I don't see it listed here. Now I'm going to plug it in and let's see what happens. On this system, I already have the driver installed, and so it's immediately recognized. I see the prompt in the upper right corner on Windows 8 asking me what I want to do with this device, and I'll ignore that. I'll go to the Device Manager screen and open the tree for Android device. If you see this Android Composite ADB interface, right-click on it and choose Update Driver Software. Then click Browse My Computer for driver software and browse to the location of the USB driver under your SDK folder, and then follow the rest of the prompts to install the driver for your operating system. You might need to reboot your computer. If you're prompted, reboot and then come back to this step. Reopen the Device Manager, and with the device plugged into the USB port, you should still see Android Composite ADB interface. Now take a look at your device. If you're using Android 4.2 or later, you might see this prompt, asking if you want to allow USB debugging from this computer and showing the computer's RSA key fingerprint. I'll click OK, and now my device is connected. That's how it works for Nexus devices. If you're using a Samsung, HTC, or other vendor-specific device, you might need a special driver for that device. Check with your device vendor and follow their instructions, and check all of their FAQ and support resources for help. To make sure that your device is ready to go, create a simple application and run it. I'll go back to Eclipse, and I'll create a new Android application project. I'll name it Test Device. I'll go through the screens and accept all of the default settings, and create the project. Once the project is open, I'll go to the default package and open the main activity Java class. Then I'll click the Run button on the toolbar. When I'm prompted, I'll choose to run as an Android application. Now, if you already have some virtual devices created for the Android emulator, this might result in running one of those. That's okay. Click OK, and if you see an emulator instance open, close it immediately. Then go back to the toolbar and pull down the menu next to the Run button and choose Run Configurations. From there, click on Target and choose Always Prompt to Pick Device. Then click Run. You should see your running Android device in the list. If you see an indication that the Android device serial number or target are unknown, go back to the device and take a look. See if that USB debugging prompt is still there. Touch OK, come back to Eclipse, and you should now see the target device serial number. I'm using an LG Nexus 4. Click OK, and that should load up the application and run it on the device. Now, I'm showing my device on screen using a special combination of software. I'm running an app called VM-Lite VNC Server on the device. And then, on my development computer, I'm running an application called Tight VNC Viewer. So I'm actually seeing what the device is showing, but I'm able to show it on screen. You don't need this software. You just need to make sure that your device is correctly connected to your development computer and that you can run and debug your applications from within Eclipse. If you have all that set up, you're ready to go to the next step, setting up the Google Maps Android API library, and I'll show you how to do that in the next movie.